Today, we're going to dive into the story of a number that means, well, absolutely nothing, a total void. And yet, it's the secret foundation for our entire modern world. This is the story of how an idea that started as nothing somehow changed everything, the number zero.
It really sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? How can something that literally means nothing become one of the most powerful inventions in all of human history? Well, let's find out, because the answer is pretty incredible.
Okay, let's start with a super simple example. On the left, we've got 63. On the right, 603. Now the only difference is that little circle, that's 0. But look at how it completely changes the value. This is 0's first superpower. It's a placeholder. It makes sure all the other numbers are in the right spot. Without it, telling 63 from 603 would be a total nightmare.
To really truly appreciate 0, you have to try and imagine a world that just didn't have it. And for thousands of years, some of the smartest civilizations on the planet did all their math without ever thinking of the number 0. And let me tell you, it was complicated.
Just imagine trying to do your homework with this. To write a simple year, like 1776, you need all these letters, MD, CCL, XXV. Okay, now try multiplying that by, say, 24. It's a complete mess, right? For a lot of ancient civilizations, this was just the reality of doing math.
And then this came along, the Hindu-Arabic numeral system. It's so clean, so efficient. With just 10 symbols, 0 through 9, we can write any number you can possibly imagine. And all that power comes from the position of each digit, a system that only works because we have 0.
You see, these early systems were just limited. They were basically just fancy tally marks. To write a bigger number, you had to invent a whole new symbol. It was clumsy, and it made it incredibly easy to confuse numbers like 12 and 120. The world really needed a better way.
So how did things start to change? Well, humans are pretty clever, and different cultures started to realize they needed some way to mark an empty spot. And this is where we see the first little ghosts of 0 starting to appear all around the world.
So what exactly is a placeholder? You know, you can think of it like a reserved seat at a concert. It doesn't mean a person is sitting there, it just marks the spot where a person could be. In numbers, it tells you, hey, there are no 10s or no 100s in this specific column.
And what's so fascinating is that this idea popped up independently all over the globe. The Babylonians, they used a 2-wedge symbol to show an empty space. At the same time, halfway across the world, the Mayan civilization developed this really cool shell-like symbol for their 0. 2 totally separate cultures, one brilliant, identical idea.
But being a placeholder, that was just the beginning. The real revolution, the moment that truly changed everything, happened in India. This is where 0 graduated from being just a space filler to becoming a true number.
Yep, this is the main event. Mathematicians in India took this idea of emptiness, which is shunya in Sanskrit, and they gave it real power. They were the very first to realize that nothing could be treated like a number you could actually use in your calculations.
And we can actually pinpoint these moments in history. Around 628 AD, this brilliant mathematician Brahmagupta, he wrote down the first rules for adding, subtracting, and multiplying with 0. Then, a couple hundred years later, in a place called Gwalior, we find this stone tablet, the first undisputed physical proof of the symbol 0 being used exactly like we do today.
Just think about how profound this was back then. Brahmagupta was writing down rules that we all take for granted now. By defining these rules, he was treating 0 not as just an empty space, but as an active player in the world of math. He basically gave nothing a name and a job to do. So once this idea was born, it couldn't be stopped. Like all great inventions, 0 started on an epic journey, spreading out from India and starting a quiet revolution in math, trade, and science everywhere it went. You can literally trace its path on a map. The idea traveled along trade routes, carried in the minds of scholars and merchants from India into Baghdad, which was a huge intellectual center at the time, and from there it began its slow journey into Europe. But it wasn't a smooth ride, not at all. After it got its start in India, it was totally embraced by Arabic mathematicians like Al-Khwarizmi, whose name, by the way, gives us the word algorithm. But when Fibonacci tried to introduce it to Europe, people were skeptical. Some thought the idea of a number for nothing was just weird, unsettling, maybe even dangerous.
And here's a cool little fact for you. The Arabic word for 0 was sifr. As that word traveled through Europe, it eventually morphed into the word cipher, which we now associate with secret codes. So in a way, the secret code to all of modern math was literally hidden inside the name for 0. Okay, so we followed Zero's wild journey through history. Now, let's pull it right into the present day, because this is way more than just a history lesson. The invention of zero has a direct line to the world you are living in right this second.
Seriously, why should you care about some number that was invented over 1,000 years ago? Well, because without it, the device you're watching this on right now simply wouldn't exist. Not to mention pretty much everything else you use every single day.
At first glance, this just looks like a random string of ones and zeros, right? Kind of a meaningless pattern. But just like zero gives meaning to other numbers, it is the absolute key to unlocking the meaning hidden here.
So what is this secret message? It's not random at all. It's actually a language, and zero is one of its only 2 letters.
It says, "Hi, this is binary code, the fundamental language of all computers. Every app on your phone, every video game, every single website is built on a foundation of ones and zeros, on and off. Without zero, there is no digital world, period. There is also no calculus, which means no advanced physics or engineering. Zero is, quite literally, everywhere."
So the story of zero is the ultimate underdog story, isn't it? It is absolute proof that a concept that seems abstract, or even means nothing, can quietly grow to change the entire world. And it kind of makes you wonder, what other seemingly small ideas are out there right now, just hiding in plain sight, waiting for their moment to become everything?